It is up to us to package and deliver the learning experience. And this is important. It's not the teaching experience, but the learning experience that must be accessible and without sacrificing quality. There's a global movement towards e-learning, and there is no reason why we in Africa should not be part of this revolution. We have existing expertise here at Stellenbosch and at our partners institutions, the universities of Botswana, Dar es Salaam, Makerere, Malawi, Nairobi, and Namibia. And that's just for starters. As the network gathers momentum, we anticipate that more universities will come aboard. We pool our resources and learn from each other. We can truly make a difference not only in teacher training, but in many other fields as well. Collaboration is an important way forward in a globalized village, among ourselves here in Africa and with partners elsewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to our second network being launched here today, Hope International. I must tell you, it is actually very important that we have this meeting here at the, what shall we call it, what is it called, the Peter Wallenberg Center. And it is important because it is an important connection between us and Sweden that have grown in this building, and that is actually also growing in the way we look at the role and the importance of higher education in the 21st century. In August 2012, I was invited to Sweden to speak at Dalarna University. They wanted to learn more about Stellenbosch University's Hope project because, like us, they were societal challenges. So some other partners that they have there, the need for sustainable and equitable human development knows no boundaries. And this is something that that is now taking higher education to a new level. And it is especially important when we are all, as Marita Hillegas, the Vice Chancellor of Dalarna, said yesterday, since we are all just villages in one big global village. That's where the idea of Hope International was born. Last year, Dalarna visited us at Stellenbosch, and a memorandum of understanding was drawn up. Other Swedish universities also supported it, Göteborg, Linnaeus, and Malmö, and here we are today launching Hope International. We said the network would be open, and that we want other universities to join, and that we hope that other universities make a commitment to science that makes a difference in this global village. Together we want to contribute to global developmental goals. We want to have joint research projects, and we said we would use ICT-based communication for learning and collaboration. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm particularly pleased that we are launching Hope at Africa and Hope International together, because they actually belong together. But we are going to first seek the synergies between the two as we go forward. And as we harness the synergies between the two, we hope to gain more traction for the idea of a pedagogy of hope functioning in a global context. So this is an historic occasion, ladies and gentlemen, universities in the global south and north taking hands for human development everywhere. And it is not just a talk shop. There are concrete steps. We agreed to have bi-monthly meetings between the vice chancellors in both networks using video conferencing. In between, there will be working groups preparing inputs and taking action going forward, reporting to the bi-monthly meeting. Focusing on crucial areas is an important start for us. We're looking at the question of what is the difficult question that Leslie is dealing with most of his life, the global pedagogies in higher education. What is actually happening? How do we learn from this? How do we work with it? And how do we get students to do comparative studies about what is going on in the global pedagogies in higher education. And secondly, the teacher education and professional development question. There's a lot that we can learn from each other, that the successes and the benchmarkings that we can work with, we're looking forward to. And then the third one is the global classroom. The classroom that has a global reach, but is rooted in many different localities. Here and in Europe, here and in other parts of the continent, then begin to see how do we create such a classroom, and where do we define traction, and where are the champions that would be willing and able to become part of a global classroom. Future studies is also an important thing that we have identified as something that we want to look at. How do we see the different scenarios on this continent? How do we see it in Europe, and especially how our Swedish partners can help us understand these scenarios as they see it, and how it compares to the way we see the scenarios on this continent. Now, the first conference on the global classroom is already taking place next week here at Stellenbosch, and it is very important because the learnings that will come out of that will be reported the reality that is coming to us. We actually want to go to a future that belongs to a next generation of academics and of students. Many of them face the bleak prospect of a future that is no different to their past or to their using our work in unlocking and sharing and applying knowledge. Now that is a goal that will enrich our work with a deeper sense of meaning and purpose. This has been our experience here at Stellenbosch University as we work through the very catalytic actions of the HOPE project. Our pedagogy of HOPE is the proverbial tide that lifting all the boats, and now our whole fleet is sailing around us, from Stellenbosch to Gaborone, Lilongwe, to Dar es Salaam, Kampala, to Nairobi, Windhoek to Stockholm, and beyond. To all our ships and to all the captains of the ships who are here, who came for this very important discussion and commitment, I want to say thank you for coming on board. May the voyage of discovery that we are embarking on be greatly rewarding and lead to major significance of universities that make a specific commitment to the villages that require that commitment now. Now, not just, and I think it is not just to our institutions that this will be important, as people will realize in time that we did it not for ourselves, not for our institutions, not just for our subjects, but for the use and the importance and the role that our subjects can play in creating a world that can cross the high seas of the knowledge economy. Now I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Professor Botman. While Professor Botman was speaking, we actually demonstrated live the global classroom. It came up on the screen. You could see him and me currently. So that is broadcasting live at the moment via Google Hangouts. And what we've done at the bottom, if you look at the bottom of the screen, those, thanks, Luzon, those are all the placeholders for possible participants. So we've created a profile for the University of Malawi. And you could see that University of Malawi kept on muting and unmuting as within any conversation, not you, sir, but as somebody that was logging on your behalf. And we will also use this technology shortly to cross over to the University of Botswana to actually bring in somebody live to demonstrate the concept of the global classroom through our technology platform. But before that, it gives me great... Oh, they wave, thank you. So they can hear us. We can't hear them at the moment because we've muted them. But because we just would like to give Professor Parker, Vice Chancellor of the University of Botswana, and I would say very good friend of Stellenbosch University, to give some introductory remarks on Hope Africa, because he was also one of the founding members of Hope Africa. Thank you, Chris.
I hope that my brief talk will give all of us hope. Distinguished and illustrious ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be afforded the opportunity to offer a few words as I attempt to show my commitment and dedication to the Hope Project. Last October, on the 31st, several of us came to Stellenbosch, and at the end of our discussions, we wrote a short letter of intent based on the notion of collaboration. On the 21st of February 2014, a delegation from Stellenbosch, led by Professor Russell Potman, visited the University of Botswana, and we continued in that path. At that occasion, I brought to their attention the three gifts that we have. The first of which is the gift of life. And I challenged participants to think or reflect about why we are given this life. We never asked for it. We just got it. We didn't even earn it. We just got it. Now it is our job to make meaning out of this life and to give ourselves and others hope in this life. In this life, if we are to live it meaningfully, we need the second gift, which is the gift of health. We need to enjoy a good measure of health in order to enjoy our life. Otherwise, we could be suffering and in pain. So a good measure of health is essential for us to enjoy our life. The third gift is the gift that has brought us here together today. And that is the gift of friendship and the gift of fellowship. This is what we are doing. Now, we use fancy words like collaboration. It is essentially friendship and fellowship. Why do we do this? Well, we believe that we can make a difference in our own lives and in the lives of others less fortunate. We believe we can make an impact in our immediate communities. We can do so if we enjoy the gift of friendship and collaboration, the gift of fellowship that enables us to focus on how we can work together to promote human development, to use telematic platform to extend the reach and the riches of all that we know. We have skills, we have competences, we have talents, we have professions that we can use in the community for its benefit. We also want to recognize the need to promote professional development, first of ourselves. This morning, I was just mentioning the need for a dip in the teaching source, or baptism in pedagogy, as somebody called it. We need to recognize and acknowledge that as university teachers, we are ill prepared to teach anyone. But the first thing we need to recognize is that we do not have teaching certificates. We do not have qualifications to teach, and we must start with ourselves. And therefore, university teachers need a dip in pedagogy before we reach out to the school teachers. But we must, using the telematic platform and other technologies, reach out and touch. We must create the future together, because we have come to understand that if we think about global problems, in our local contexts, we are likely to contribute to solving issues that are challenges to the whole world. We believe we can give hope for Africa and hope for the world only if we work together. I have argued that when we do that, even the donor communities, the ever-growing community of young entrepreneurs who have grown to become billionaires, who do not actually know what to do with the billions once mortality sets in. They want to be associated with institutions of excellence that through their research and service to the community they can associate. And they are prepared, as we have seen in this building, to donate something meaningful for the sake of advancing humanity. So I'm very pleased, ladies and gentlemen, that I have been given this opportunity to say that our universities in the region, a select few, have this wonderful opportunity to show to many others what we can do by adopting the spirit of hope. I hope you hope with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Parker, for your words. We are now going to attempt the live crossover to the University of Botswana, where Dr. Sibudiburu will be able to say a few words on behalf of the university. And I've also said I've invited Professor Parker if he would like to interact with his colleagues at the University of Botswana to do that as well. So welcome. Great, you are live, so you will be able to give us some words of wisdom from the University of Botswana.
You can carry on, but everyone is waiting for you.
Hello?
There we go. We're
Hello?
just sorting out the technology.
You can carry on, everyone is
I know they
waiting.
can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Yes? Can you hear us?
Would you like to
Yes,
start
we can hear you.
starting to speak? Okay.
Can you
Just have
please
to
just
get the microphone switched on.
unmute your on your screen?
There we go.
Thank you. I think we can go ahead. Professor Sibudiburu will come on.
We cannot hear you.
Hello?
Can you please unmute your
There we
screen?
go. Our colleagues are communicating with him in the back. And while we're waiting for them, I would love to acknowledge our colleagues, Lazar and Henny, the whole team at the back for making this
We
possible.
cannot hear you. Can you speak up?
I don't think we have a problem. I think we can go ahead. Thank you very much. Professor Sibudiburu, just go ahead.
Hello?
Something?
Just a
If you
moment.
can hear us,
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Wonderful. Please go ahead.
Let's go ahead.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear
Hello?
you. Hi,
Oh, thank you very much. Okay. My name is David Sibudubulu at the University of Botswana. With me here on my right, I'm with Mr. Sorazaba Hopi. We are at the University of Botswana in Block 247, and we are happy to be connected to you that site. And we have been listening to Professor Botman and our Vice Chancellor, Professor Thabo Fako, talking about the HOPE project and HOPE International. Something that we are very much excited about at the University of Botswana, because to us it's a new project, and therefore we feel that there's a need for us, as Professor Botman and Professor Fako were saying earlier, for us to collaborate for the betterment of our own institutions. And therefore we tend to think that this is an exciting project that will make us, as the University of Botswana, to be part of it, to be relevant, and therefore we are very much excited about it. And as we are speaking right now with our Vice Chancellor at Stellenbosch right now, we feel that we are learning as we go on, because at the end of the day, the intention of this project is to improve human development using ICT technology, and we are very much committed to this project as the University of Botswana.
Thank you very much for that input. Are there any questions from the audience, maybe from Professor Parker for your colleagues? Yes, please do.
Okay, David, I think you can tell our audience here in Stellenbosch how we have.
Go again, Prof.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, I think you should tell our audience here in Stellenbosch what we have been doing in the University of Botswana, going around the faculty to galvanize everyone and to identify enthusiastic and passionate colleagues who can help kickstart the efforts at our university.
Okay. As the University of Botswana, I think, as I said earlier, we are very much excited. The university management, led by the Vice Chancellor, has been holding faculty meetings across the university to try to share with them about the prospects of the whole project and what we can achieve as the university. And I think from the meetings that we have had so far, colleagues are quite excited about this project because it can make a difference. It can make our university relevant to the society that we are living in. Because at the end of the day, our intention is to try to transform the lives of the people that we are living in, the lives of the society that we find ourselves in. So we tend to think that on the ground here, our colleagues are quite excited about it.
Excellent, wonderful. Thank you so much for that live crossover. You can see their pictures back left-hand corner. And what we also have is another classroom at the University of Botswana, where there's actually other participants sitting also at the University of Botswana, and they're also taking part in the broadcast, just to demonstrate the concept of bringing in a variety of partners all around the world through this technology and participating, collaborating.
Yes, I can see Dr. Morolong and Steve Makote.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, with that, we're going to move along with the program. Thank you very much, Professor Parker. Thanks also to the colleagues at the University of Botswana. I'm now going to hand over to Professor Marita Hillegas, Vice Chancellor of Galana University, who is also the coordinator of the HOPE International Project, the university's coordinator, for some welcoming remarks and remarks on HOPE International. Thank you, Marita.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting us here to this wonderful place, to this wonderful country in this wonderful university. The HOPE project has played an important role in the transformation of Stellenbosch University. I know I can speak for my Swedish colleagues when I say how impressed and inspired we are by the work that is being done here. In the face of what I know, it was originally considerable opposition, but you have managed to change the focus of both education and research towards commitment to major societal challenges. The example of Stellenbosch University is an inspiring one. Not only is the entire program based on hope, it really has inspired hope in us. In our part of the world, hope of this kind can sometimes seem to be in a short supply. As universities, we are learning organizations in every respect. And what we want to do through Hope International is to carry on learning together. On the basis of your example, we want to learn how to get better at learning together, and better to learn together with our communities, to formulate, address our local and global challenges. And what we have confirmed during the inspiring meetings we have had here with our African partners is how similar our concerns are. Even though we have very different starting points in Africa and in the Scandinavian north where we live, we all have major climate issues, problems with youth unemployment, health problems, and so on. And we need to realize that we live in the same global village. We need to understand it better and to change it for the better. As academics, we know a lot about our societies. What we want to do through Hope International is to use that knowledge to actively develop our societies. Our knowledge and our learning are increasingly excellent. Now we want to make them increasingly significant. The HOPE project in South Africa has shown us that it is possible and that the path forward needs to be charged in close partnership with our communities. I represent a group of Swedish universities that have been impressed and inspired by the HOPE project. Together with you, we aim to form a stable and sustainable network in Hope International. 4 of these universities were able to be present here today, those in Gothenburg, in Malmö, as well as Linnaeus University and my own institution in Dalarna. One concrete example of how we can further sustainable collaboration between the continents is the local classroom project that is meeting here next week. It will connect students and staff at Stellenbosch and Malmö universities, as well as universities in Canada and Australia, by using modern digital technologies. Students at my own university in Dalarna, Sweden, have been working together for several years with master students in Botswana University in the course on African literature, also using real-time collaboration in a virtual classroom on the internet. What better ways of bringing understanding between people and creating sustainable learning environments could there be? What better ways of letting young people begin to understand the similarities and the differences in our global village? What better way to inspire hope in an entire generation? I want to thank you for your generosity in sharing your experiences here at Stellenbosch and sharing your way of leading science into society. I hope and believe that launching Hope International here today, we will be launching a structure that will continue to inspire university faculty, staff and students to work closer with the communities for generations to come. And that gives me, at least, a great deal of hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marita. Now the floor is open for some questions. either on Hope with Africa, Hope International, the concept of the global classroom, or anything in particular you want to address to one of the people you've heard speaking here this afternoon. There is a roving microphone, so we know you can talk loudly, but it's just important for our broadcast going out that you do use the roving microphone. I would like to open up the floor for any questions or comments. Hi, Mariana. Professor Visser.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this is an unreasonable question, but maybe I'll direct the question to all the vice chancellors here or anybody else who's got the information. That is, while the various speakers were speaking, I was thinking, how far ahead have they been doing their provisional planning, their provisional strategies, 5 years, 10 years, and what would they say are the major first actions coming out from that? So I think I'd like to Botman to answer, but
Het is net niet weer in de vraag.
Thank you very much. At our different institutions, we have different horizons for our own planning. As you know, we're looking at a vision for 2030, Stellenbosch, but a planning horizon for 2018. And the other universities like Malpa is 2020, etc. And we have to continue this monthly conversation to sort out precisely how do we secure that there is a synergy between what each institution wants to do and what the value that these metrics can add to that planning. So we have actually, I must say, from where we were, we only had letters of intent and memorandum of understanding up to now. And now we have set up the idea of working groups that will be representative of every institution, and we have asked certain institutions to coordinate the processes. One on the Africa side, that is Stellenbosch University, and then the Hope International, that is Dalana, and so that we have a coordination point. And we hope in the next year, we told ourselves that in the next 6 to 12 months, we must have a clearer plan going forward over the next years. Thank you.
Great. One or two more comments or questions from the audience? Yes, Professor Hatton, Dean of Arts.
Thank you very much. I'm Johan Hatton, Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. I have a very interesting question to pose to the people here dealing with the technology. That is, yesterday morning, someone came to see me. He refers to himself as Jan Ott, the last living Bushman. And what he basically offered Stellenbosch University was a living archive. His knowledge of the indigenous plants, animals, cultural practices that made the Bushmen survive for so many millennia in the parts of that. And then he asked us to protect that archive, to curate it, to make it available to everyone in such a manner that they as individuals are protected. They would like to go back, him and his wife, to the Kalahari and said that, okay, we can study our archives maybe here in Stellenbosch. And then his wife asked, can we then have a remote classroom broadcasting from the Kalahari, a place called Vikdraai? I'm sitting on my dune, and you guys here in Sweden or Australia or wherever are asking us questions, because we are the professors, the knowledge bearers of our culture and our indigenous knowledge. So my question is to people in technology, can we also have peripheral classrooms broadcasting from the view in the middle of the Kalahari to us? Yeah. Thank you very much.
I have not tested from the dune, that specific dune, but in principle it is possible. I mean, what you've seen here this afternoon is in principle what we're doing. This could be anywhere in the world. And that local knowledge, I think that's what the global classroom is all about, that local knowledge, broadcasting from that dunes globally to the rest of the world, making that knowledge global is what it's all about. So absolutely. In principle, it's possible. I'm looking to Mr. Albie Dreyer, our Senior Director, Information Technology. If we can get a 3D cell phone sign there, I think this technology will be able to do it. Albie's got a comment.
Johan, thank you very much for that question. As you know, I'm an optimist, so the obvious question, the answer would be yes. But just to emphasize the technology that we're using here today is very much based on the Google technology. And we went out on tender a while back to determine what will the pricing be to create lecture capturing systems, etc. And in the process, we realized that we've got friends and people like Google which can visualize and imagine what the opportunities are. And when I told them about the Hope International North Africa project, they were so excited that they almost committed unlimited funding behind this project. So in that sense, we've got good partners, and I think to that extent, I think I'm extremely excited about what the opportunities are. I'm not sure whether you grabbed the concept yet this afternoon. Everything that we've said here today, even the meals that you've been taking, will be on YouTube this evening. So I hope you use your best eating techniques. This will be available tonight on YouTube. I'm not sure if the camera is on you, but I think as we speak, it is on you.
I was going to say it's already on YouTube. You can see at the bottom here it's live, and there's one viewer already. So I suspect it might be somebody from the press, Martin, because we didn't distribute this link too widely yet, but we did distribute it to the press. So we suspect it's one person joining in from Pretoria. But of course, this will be archived, as you said, and it will be there this evening as a YouTube broadcast.
And so maybe I'm going to finish off the question Johan has, to what extent will this also be possible from the desert or wherever else? As we speak, there's a 7-second delay. For what we speak here, that will eventually be available on YouTube. So that we call almost a live session. But as soon as that time period extends beyond an hour or 2 hours, then we start calling it an asynchronous session. And I think what we're saying is that in terms of the archive, yes, it can be accumulated, and even if it's transmitted the day thereafter, so we can, if we need to attach it to a bird or something like this, I guess it but yes, the capabilities that we've got in our telematics center, and that we are now sharing that knowledge with all the other universities. We've been in contact with the University of Botswana this morning, and it was unbelievable how quickly we could synchronize mind with Professor Parker's technical department of that site. So compliments for your division in terms of being able to capture that. But yes, as I said, I'm an optimist and extremely excited about the bridges which we can build between the universities. And within the next 6 months, we will try and get in contact with each of those universities to build that bridge even further.
Thanks, Galmi. Any other burning questions? Maybe one more question. Ellen, yes.
Yes, thank you very much. It's not a question, just a comment, and I'd like to add to what Tommy had said in the question from Professor Martin, and that is, I just wish that when we take this forward, that we definitely also look at the whole issue around the content. And what Professor Hotting, the example that you've given in terms of archiving, curating, you know, this kind of information, because the technology is fine, we can make the connections, but in the end of the day, it is the content, and that we have to make sure that that's accessible. And also, it's fine, it can be on YouTube today, but 10 years, 20 years, you know, you go, you search, the link is no longer there. So preservation and then documenting and curating this information, and at the end of the day, the use and the benefit for the students and the researchers from our institutions. So my appeal would be that we please make sure that we involve also the libraries and institutions.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that's the ideal person to talk about curation and information. But thank you very much, Ellen, for that contribution. One last question, comment. There are no other burning questions or comments. I'm just going to hand over to Professor Botman for a short thank you.
Colleagues, I just want to say thank you very much for the many people who you don't even know and realize are aware of changes taking place in higher education, watching it, studying it, and then deciding to know more about it, and then take it forward in different ways. And I am very grateful also for the leadership of Dala-Na, and thank you very much, Marita, for inviting me there to get an understanding of this, the way the Swedes would deal with it and the questions that they would ask, and that was a great opportunity for me. And I always say that it is the right thing to start with the Swedes. And people who don't understand that, I tell them go to Robben Island. When you get there, the first question the prisoners ask, are there any Swedes in the group? And then they ask, why? The Americans ask, why do you want to know? They say, because the Swedes were the first faith of my child who had to go to school when I was in prison. And this is the background, and it's great that we have this starting point with Hope International, and we have to vote and go forward and take it into the future. And there's a lot that we can do together, and we have many people who made many sacrifices in Sweden and in South Africa, and it's worth our while to ask the difficult questions about what is it that they want us to do to create a better environment, a better world, a better future for next generations. Also, I'd like to say thank you very much to the African partners. Thank you, Professor Parker, for your words here today. And thank you for all those who have worked hard to try and make the time and set the time aside to begin to ask the questions of the next step. We have come out of bilateral relationships. We have learned that there is a next level of relationships, and that could be in a partnership model that is different, in which we are all equal, that the one is not doing something for the other, and that it's not just about reciprocity, but about bringing together the knowledge base of a subcontinent, the knowledge base of continents together, and then see how we take it forward. We know that at some point the Hope at Africa and the Hope International will become one. But we have, in the discussion today, the directors of Hope at Africa decided that we should continue still first as a small group, thinking through all the African questions and the difficulties and seeking the solutions until we're sure that we have the right group of universities together, until we're sure that we have also the right mix and diversity of thought together on this continent, and take it forward into a next step. We think about the next 12 months will help us understand what would be the real big next steps going forward. But thank you very much to everyone. Thank you for the deans of Stellenbosch University and the vice deans and all those who joined us here today. Also, Leopold, thank you for joining us as our bedrijfshoof. It is wonderful to have you here and to have you exposed to these people, talk to them, ask the questions that you have. And I'm sure you will see that they have looked into the things that you have been doing, and they felt we should do this together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for all the contributions this afternoon and for your participation. And now it's my honor to announce that lunch will be served and have a wonderful conversation around the table. Thank you very much.